Welcome back to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. If you're just tuning in, you're going to want to go to nowmedia.tv, go to shows, click down on Power CEOs and watch the first half. Why? Because I have Jared Yellin here and we are talking about how do I start up a business? How do I get from the idea on the napkin to practical startup? And we're using tech as an example, but every business starts in the same way. How do we get that proof of concept, that initial proof of concept? How do we find our addressable market and whether people are going to actually pull out the credit card and buy the solution that we are working with our blood, sweat, and tears to create for them? So we started there and we've talked about how do we pitch to investors? What's the most important thing? And we left off before the break on executive presence, on that self-confidence and that initial delivery, how important it is that your presentation from the get-go, the nonverbal part, is way more important even than what comes out of your mouth in order for investors to sit up and listen. And so I want to dive right back into that with you today, Jared. And so let's take it to the next step, right? We're both investors, we're both entrepreneurs. We've talked about how to get to that point where we're in front of the investors and that executive presence. But as you have moved through, you are disruptive in what you're doing. And so I really want to dive into what sets you apart, because you guys partner with companies and you partner in such a way that you want them set for success and you have a very structured way of doing this. So share a little bit about how you're disrupting, the launch and acceleration in the tech industry.
So there's too much variability in early stage anything. There's too many decisions that you have to make. We actually did a research study recently, and what we learned was the average entrepreneur has to make 372 critical decisions on their journey to an exit. They make over 10,000 decisions, but 372 critical. And those critical decision means make or break, which means if you make the wrong decision, it might put an end to your dream. So what we've done is we've built, we've tested, and we've refined a business operating system that eliminates decision-making. And we either co-found SaaS companies, software as a service, with extraordinary and relevant entrepreneurs that have really strong ideas, or we buy software companies from engineers that are looking to create liquidity for themselves. And then we take the responsibility to build, scale, and exit these companies. Everything from product and engineering to business development and strategy, press and branding, and then all of the back office. We eliminate variability. Every company is on a journey. It's a predictable path. We know where they are at all times. And you know what we eliminate, Jen? We eliminate the ambiguous aspect of early stage. Because how many entrepreneurs wake up every day and they're taking massive action 100 miles per hour in the wrong direction and they don't even know it? Whereas our companies, they're on a path. It's predictable. It's known. They know where they are. They know if they're not succeeding because the data is present. So it allows us to pivot before, unfortunately, we have to pull the plug on it. The disruption that we're causing is called capital efficient SaaS. Singles and doubles are the new unicorn. We're giving more people the opportunity to realize their tech dream because now they have a partner with the human infrastructure to support them from idea to exit.
And honestly, one of the biggest challenges in entrepreneurship across every industry, and I know you're in tech specifically, but across all industries, is they don't have the right support network. So many times entrepreneurship, people get into it, and you're absolutely right. They're moving a mile a second in the wrong direction, and all of a sudden they've got a major course correct. It's because they don't have the right support network. They feel like they're operating in a vacuum, and society has kind of created that, especially those who are coming out of a corporate structure. You're not supposed to talk about things. If you're challenged, you're not supposed to talk about the challenges. Everybody needs to be the expert. And so how have you shifted the psychology of entrepreneurs who come to partner with you, because they have to want to reach out for that support and be open to that support? So how is it that you pick your business partners? Is there like a process before they even get to come in and pitch you? Like, what is it like? What did that look like for you, determining who are the right entrepreneurs who are going to be receptive to something like this? Like, talk to me a little bit about that, because the psychology of it is tremendously important.
Yeah, so we have a really extensive process. Over the past almost 3 years, we've had a little over 2,000 entrepreneurs and engineers from around the world come through this process. So it's really allowed us to refine it quite a bit. There's 4 major things that we're looking for: right person, right idea, right market, right business model. There's a ton of nuance. There's an enormous amount of testing, but when that is present, we'll either co-found or we'll buy that business. Now, the key to that equation, though, is really the right person, because we absolutely can and most likely will change the idea as we collect more data. It's really easy to change the market that you're pursuing, and the business model is something that you should be testing regardless. So the person, that person component is something that we can't change. They are who they are. And if they don't have certain characteristics, unfortunately, we don't even entertain the idea of the market or the business model. So some of those characteristics are, we look for people that take 100% responsibility for their outcomes. And we actually test and assess this. We want to make sure that you're someone that recognizes that every time you point a finger to blame anybody else, there's 3 fingers pointing back right at you. So you're the type of person that will take 100%, not 99%, not 72%, but 100% of the responsibility to produce a specific outcome. We also look for co-founders that have the ability to sell their vision, because if you cannot mobilize people to a yes, you really don't have a role within our world. That's what we're looking for within a co-founder, somebody that can absolutely sell their vision. They can do what we call tangibilize something, which is not even a real word, but that's what we call it. They tangibilize their vision. They make their vision something that we can see and touch and maneuver. We look for people that show up with that deepest level of conviction. We call it the entrepreneurial swagger. They just know they're onto something. They know they're uniquely qualified. So there's a whole variety of characteristics that we're looking for, but the person matters more than anything else. We've had countless times, Jen, where the right person showed up with the wrong idea in the wrong market and the wrong business model. And we told them, what you presented isn't viable, but you're a rock star. So we actually have somebody else that pitched us an idea who is absolutely wrong. And we love to show you that idea to see if you want to pursue that one with us. The right person for us is everything. We'd rather have no co-founder than the wrong co-founder.
And that's so incredibly important. And I just want to speak to it from both sides of it. If you're in business and you're looking to partner with another business partner, you have to be equally yoked. You have to definitely know whose roles are what, and you have to be moving together in the same direction powerfully. So if you're yoked to the wrong person in a business, and you're going and you're driving and they're not, then it's holding you back. And so that's one of the things we talk about in the show a lot, is how to find the right partner, the right people on your team, the right people on the bus, and the right seats in the bus. But when we're talking about the money side, I don't feel my money is protected if I don't have the right person. And I have left huge deals with lots of monetization opportunity, huge upside on the table, because it's not worth it because the person wasn't a right fit. So I love that you put the person first. It is so incredibly important. And so talk to our viewers, what can they look at in themselves? What questions can they be asking themselves to assess? Because some people think that they take 100% responsibility, but everybody else sees differently. So what are some basic things that listeners to the show, viewers of the show today can ask themselves in self-reflection? Am I the right person to partner with money? Am I the right person to actually take my idea, my business to the next level? What can they be thinking about in their own that they can take action on right now today, so that they know, hey, am I going to take it the distance? Am I going to be successful in what I'm trying to achieve?
So there's 2 things that I've done in my life that have allowed me to be the right person to accept capital. So one of them is I did door-to-door sales. And if you haven't done that and you feel like you're at an age that you can't do that, I just encourage you to do something that teaches you skills in a very practical way, where you're literally selling something. So do some commission-only sales opportunity so that you can actually experience what it means to take somebody from just meeting them to a yes. It's critical that you refine your sales skills. The second thing that I've done is an enormous amount of personal development. I am extremely introspective with myself. I question everything. I want to get to the source of what holds me back, limiting beliefs, so that none of those things are present. So commit to personal development and commit to sharpening your sales sword. You need to be able to sell your vision. It is absolutely essential and critical. Anyone that tells you the product will sell itself doesn't understand what it takes to actually scale a business. You have to be able to transfer your certainty around your solution to somebody else who then gets as certain as you, so they make a buying decision. And that is called sales. Personal development and sales skills are absolutely essential for you as you step into becoming a founder of a startup company.
And boom, that's a mic drop right there. So if we were to look at ourselves and say, okay, where do we start with sales? Do you have a resource or a go-to that you're like, this is the best ABC, it's the little red book, or what is your go-to sales resource? Like when you have those entrepreneurs who maybe need to brush up on that, what do you give them?
So I was like so anti-sales training for literally ever until recently, because I learned it by doing it. I did a door-to-door sales job when I was 19 years old in Manhattan and Brooklyn, selling credit card processing. It was the single most difficult thing of my entire life. Every business owner that I walked into knew that I was there to sell them something. And my territory was Coney Island, which is really not a very safe place right outside of Manhattan. But of late, I got to know Grant Cardone pretty well. He invested actually in our company. And as I got to know him, I also got to understand his work. And he is so effective at simplifying sales. There's a lot of sales trainers out there, and I find they make it overly complicated, I think almost so that you feel like you always need them. Whereas Grant's taken a whole different approach. He simplifies it. He makes it something that even his young children, his daughters, are able to do, where they're on sales calls and they're selling the different programs he has to offer, or tickets to these events. So I was so anti actual like formal sales training until I actually saw what Grant was doing. So if you have no sales training, I really encourage you to reach out to Grant Cardone's team, because it's really second to none how they've been able to simplify something that so many people are afraid and averse to.
Yeah, I was anti-sales myself. I come from medicine, and in medicine, you're always selling, but you're selling as the practitioner, and they need what you're selling. Hey, oh, you blow your ACL. This is the treatment plan. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to get you back to the field so that you can be, playing on NFL Sunday. So like you're always doing it. And I was the same as you when I shifted focus and I came out of medicine. And I was able to do great on the conversions because I only do what I believe in. But when you want to scale a business, it requires so much more. And so I concur with you. Sales training is incredible. And the important thing with sales training that I found is you have to be able to have someone give you direct feedback. And so many people will do like read a book and think that they've got it. But if you don't have direct feedback, either in an accountability partner, a coach, or a trainer in your sales program, that really is critical, because they're going to give you that objective opinion, that objective look and perspective, so that you can actually shift the micro behaviors that are inhibiting your sales. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. We do have to take a brief break. We will be right back after these messages.